In this occasion, we will have present from Dr. Siti KHADIJAH from Universiti Teknologi Malaysia. Today, before that, allow me to introduce a biography for our speaker for today. Dr. Siti KHADIJAH is a postdoctoral in Universiti Teknologi Malaysia (UTM). Before this, she was in Universiti Malaysia Pahang for her bachelor degree in civil engineering in year 2009. After that, she's continued for master degree in mechanical engineering in UTHM in year 2013. Then, in year 2015, Dr. Siti KHADIJAH continued for her PhD in chemical engineering and graduated in year 2018 with a Chancellor Award and Best Student Award. Dr. Siti KHADIJAH was also active in publication. She had published more than 40 items, which is 35 journal articles, 2 review articles, 2 book of chapter, and also 1 book. She also got the highest citation for a single paper, which is 46, and the total citation of 381. The average citation published item was 12.7, which has index of 13 and cumulative impact factor with 104.62. It was an excellent achievement. So, before that, I would like to remind to all of the audience to turn off your microphone during the session. And also, please to bear with us until the end of the session because the feedback link and also the attendance will be provided 30 minutes before the session ends. It is for your e-certificate purposes. Without further ado, I would like to invite Dr. Siti KHADIJAH to start the presentation for today. Thank you very much.
Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Shabri, can you hear my voice?
Yes, Doctor, I can hear your voice.
Okay, so let's continue. So thank you so much for such a wonderful introduction about myself. So actually, I also prepared a short introduction about me, which I will present to you later. So let me share with you the slide. Okay, can you see my slide? Wait. What to do? Okay, so wait, okay. Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and a very good morning to all. So today's talk titled Strategies to Publish in High Impact Journal. So Shabri has introduced a little bit about me, which I also has prepared some short introduction about me, which perhaps that can trigger you to do a publication. So I am currently a postdoctoral at Universiti Teknologi Malaysia. I'm doing a research in the field of water treatment. Previously, I am graduated with a PhD in chemical engineering from Universiti Teknologi Malaysia. I complete my master degree in mechanical engineering from UTHM and obtaining a bachelor degree in civil engineering from UMP. So this is some of my achievements. So during 3 years of my PhD study, I have published 11 papers in which 7 is Q1, 3 is Q2 and 1 from Q3 journal. I am also participate in several competition and exhibition such as ITEX, MTE and SIF. I managed to secure 7 golds, 3 silver, 2 special awards and a prestigious ASEAN Invention Excellence Award for my PhD products in ITEX 2070. Due to this, my PhD product received interview from several newspapers such as Berita Harian. At the graduation day, I have been awarded as the best student and received Chancellor Award from UTM. I also have been appointed as adjunct research advisor from NAS Singapore. So that's all about me a little bit. So today's talks is actually about sharing experience from my PhD. So I'm not going to teach you because I am not the one that stood to teach you. So what I can do today is to share what I do, what I learn, and what I did during my PhD. So this is actually my first paper, as you can see from the slide. So this is actually I obtained from my thesis, master thesis. So at 2017, when I'm doing a PhD, so I see my supervisor in UTM, which is also my co-supervisor during my master in UTHM. So he asked me that why not you publish my thesis. So I tried to publish. I just copy and paste from the thesis and publish into a journal that doesn't have impact factor. At that time, this journal doesn't have impact factor because it is a new journal. So as you can see nowadays, as you can see now, this journal has been moved to Taylor and franchise and has a Q1, has been ranked to Q1. So what I want to trigger you here is actually just publish from your thesis as long as it is a new and novel research. So this is the outline. This is the outline that the talk today. So I will start with the scholarly journal, why we need to publish, types of publications, journals, proceedings, why we publish in high impact journals, publication and edge index, common type of high impact factor paper, step to have complete set of paper, structure of paper like review, short communication, full paper, choosing a journal, writing process, submission process, and until the review process. So before we start, I would like to state some facts that you must know. So first, your research is worthless until it's published. It means that you must bear in mind that your work, although it is novel, there is no value if you not publish because no one know about your work. Okay. Second is the value of an article increase when it is being cited in other research article. So this is the fact that why you need to publish in high impact journals. So if you publish in a journal that doesn't have impact factor, so it is difficult to your manuscript or your work to be cited by all researchers around the world. And third is the publication is the knowledge sharing. So this is common. So because you publish because you want to share what you obtain, what you get from your work to all researchers over the world. And number four is quite famous for the publication talk, publication seminar, you publish or perish. Okay, before I move on to other scopes, so let's see what is scholarly journal. So let's give some time to watch this video.
Hey, you aren't one of us.
Oh, what? Why?
Have you not read the sign?
I still don't get it.
I suppose you don't know who we are. We're a group of journals committed to research and advancing knowledge in our fields. It takes a lot of work to become one of us. You're in a different club. Popular magazines are written to entertain, focus on current events.
Do you mean the one that says trade professionals?
Our trade professional journal friends over there are an interesting bunch. They are journals focused on a specific industry, trade, or business, such as architecture, marketing, or plumbing. They are great for information on trends, developments, products, and services. Then there is our newspaper friends who deliver daily news and current events. The club you want is next door.
I still don't know what makes you so special.
Journal articles are written by experts such as academics. Students love using this because their lecturers sometimes ask them only to use peer-reviewed or scholarly journals. Articles have been reviewed by experts before being accepted for publication. Our work is reliable and high quality. We're used by students to get better marks in their assignments.
Oh, wow. How do students find you?
Students can find peer-reviewed or scholarly articles by looking for peer-reviewed or scholarly as a filter option in the library search tool or database. We are all very similar. You can spot one of us by some key features of our articles. Our content is structured. We usually have abstract, introduction, a literature review, methods, results, a conclusion, and references. The author's credentials are mentioned. We're written with vocabulary unique to a subject area, and we're unbiased in our point of view. It's not always obvious an article is scholarly or peer-reviewed. If in doubt, ask Latrobe.
Okay, so that is about what is scholarly journal. So why I'm showing you this video, so it shows you that the publication is different with some papers like magazine and others. So why we need to publish our research? So as a researcher, we need to publish so that our work is known to all researchers. So this is to build our record, which is CV and reputation of research contribution in form of paper. So this means that when you publish, you will have citation, and then when you have citation, you will go to the H index, which I will explain later about what is H index. So H index is very important for the researcher and academicians. The second is why we need to publish is to guarantee intellectual property of scientific contribution in academia and industry. So this point tell you that you need to secure your works, your novelty. So once you have an idea to publish, you have an idea to your research. Of course, it is a novel, right? So you need to publish because you want to secure your title at least. So by doing this, people, other researchers from over the country or even at your same institution will not copy your work. So this is very important. So third is to encourage scientists to share knowledge that they might otherwise have kept secret. So when you're doing a research, you will not telling to everyone because it is a secret because you want to publish first, right? So this publication allow you to share knowledge when you write all of your idea, all of your novelty in a paper, which can later be read by other researchers around the world. And fourth is to create a sense of competition among scientists to be the first to publish a new scientific finding. So this is interesting. So when you have a very novel work, which is the first theory ever that does not have been done by other researcher, so you will be the pioneer of your work. So this allow you through publication, this allow you to be the pioneer of your field. And then we need to publish to have other research, do further research based on the published paper. So publication is allow us to do a previous work. So can you imagine if there is no publication, what should you referring to do your work? So I can say that it's not going to be happen if there is no publication. How can you refer to do for example, like you do a water treatment. So what is the technique? What is the method? What is the method? At least your work should be modified or added something new and in the previous work. So that is the importance of publication. And last is to participate in advancing knowledge. So there are a lot of type of publication, which is journal papers, which is journal papers is quite common to us, a researcher. And then we have also proceeding papers, which is published during a conference, workshop, or colloquiums. Then magazine papers is also a type of publications, letters, patents, standard and RFCS, thesis, chapter in a book, and books. So what is journal? So journals allow researchers to communicate their research with their peers. So this means that by doing a publication, by publish your work, you can tell what your idea, and then perhaps other researchers from other institution will do the same work but some modification. So this is automatically allow the communication between the researcher in the same field. So second is to provide a great opportunity to get professional comments about your works. So when you publish, you will go the peer review process. So this means that there is someone that can read your publication, that your manuscript before you're getting published, which can which can which can solve your which can read and identify is there any mistakes or and identify any questions arise when you are doing your manuscript. And then third is usually contains the contribution made by the researcher. So this is of course a contribution. So publications is a contribution that made by the researcher. So some papers they contains at least 3 authors, and some of them have until up to 10 authors. So as far as I know, from my experience, we cannot more than 10 authors. So this is what we call a contribution by the researchers. So every researcher in the paper have their own role. So for example, you as a student is the main author for the paper. You are the one that do the experiment. You are the one that do the writing, and you are the one that sometimes do the submission process. But your supervisor perhaps contribute to do to give you a grant, a research grant to do the research, and then perhaps checking your manuscript, and other researcher perhaps do a proofreading or maybe a collaboration between the researcher that when you are doing a test in their institution and something else, and etc. So then next is what journals provide a complete information about a particular piece of research. So by doing a publication, a manuscript, you telling everything about your research. You telling everything about your work from abstract until the conclusion, and then you will put a detailed information in a result and discussion. So this publication will give an advantage to all researchers to know more information about your research, the same field. And then is high impact journals most apply the peer reviewing process, as I have explained later. So high impact journals, which is have a impact factor, they usually will go the process of peer review. Sometimes they will have a third, 2 to 3 to 4 sometimes for the review process. So to make your publication, to make your manuscript very well before it published to the readers. And then journals allow you to publishing. A journal is a time-intensive process. And then lastly, journals help you to deliver your research to the world faster. So there is some tips, which is if you want to deliver your research to the world faster, try publishing at a conference. So there is some conference that do a special issue, and then this special issue they usually take a high impact factor. So I have an experience in do a conference in Hong Kong, which they give a special issue for in a journal of Q1, which is separation and purification technology. Unfortunately, I cannot go. So I canceled to do to go to the conference. But because perhaps they have a limited number of authors that contribute to the special issue, so I have a chance to publish in that special issue. So actually, conference with high impact factor issue is a very good conference. So go to that conference. So now, what is the proceeding paper? What is the difference of proceeding paper with journals? So proceeding papers is the academic articles published based on academic events such as conference, workshop, colloquiums, and so on. So when you go to the conference, sometimes you will see the proceeding, the selected paper will publish into the proceeding papers. And then this proceeding paper provide a great opportunity to meet with professional researcher in your area. That is usually contains the contribution made by researcher and present at an event. So proceeding paper is a publication that have been present in the conference. So it can be also a writing record of a research to be presented to fellow researchers. So in some fields, proceeding paper may be considered grey literature. So grey literature here means is a materials and research produced by organization outside of the traditional commercial or academic publishing. So sometimes grey literature is not published in a high impact factor. So that's why it can be included in the proceeding papers. So next is the publish faster than journal papers. So proceeding paper have gone to the reviewing process before you can attend the conference. So after you have delivered your research to audience in conference, so it will immediately publish your papers in the proceeding papers. So sometimes there is no additional peer review process. So many proceeding publications are peer review. So now I want to tell you why we publish in high impact journals. So this is a snap picture from my Google Scholar, which is show you why we should publish in high impact journals. So as you can see, the impact factor paper from this slide, so it shows that it has high citation from other researchers compared to the conference. And there's one of my paper that I published during my master in a conference that does not have any citation at all. So this means that why we need to publish in high impact journals, because high impact journals allow your work to know by other researchers all around the world, not only in your institution. So now is what is H index that I have talked about H index previously. So the H index is an author-level metric that attempts to measure both the productivity and citation impact of the publications of a scientist or scholar. So I want to tell you that H index is very important. So once you graduated from master or PhD, people will look for your H index. It will not look for the number of paper you have. It will look, but H index is more important than that. So how to calculate the H index? So let me tell you here. So if you have 5 papers, for example, you have 5 papers, and then the paper number 1 have been cited by 6 researchers, and then paper number 2 have been cited by 6 researchers also. And then paper number 3 also has been cited by 6 researchers. And paper number 4 have been cited by 6 researchers also. But number 5 has not been cited. So this means your H index is 4. Okay, so that is how to calculate your H index. So that means the H index shows that the citation value of your paper. So when your paper is getting cited, so it shows the value of your paper. So this is the common type of high impact factor. There are 4 high impact factor, which is original paper, short communication, review paper, and later. So I have experience in publishing the 3 type of high impact factor, which is original paper, short communication, and review paper. I will show you how we can have a complete set to publish in these 3 types of high impact paper. And for later, so normally we will not publish in later because it is invited only. So the well-known professor in the certain field will be invited by the editors of the journals, and they need to write a very short manuscript, 1 to 2 pages paper. So in the form of letter about it's just like a perspective work. So for researcher for a PhD and master student, we can just publish in original paper, short communication, and review paper. So this is a step to have complete set of paper. So if you are a PhD student or also a master student, you will do a literature review first, right? Before you do your lab testing. So when you do a literature review, you will write a chapter 2, which is called a literature review. So actually, from that literature review, you can do a review paper. You should structure it beautifully, then do a review paper. What is the review paper? The review paper is is a paper that gives an overview of existing literature in a field. So this review paper enables us to identify specific problem or issue and analyze information from available published works on the topic with a neutral perspective. Review papers are usually long and their length are depending on the journal, but sometimes it can be short, which is called as mini review. So when you're doing your literature, I suggest you do the review paper because you read and then you write it back. So that is the review. So you can transfer it into review paper. If you have any diagram that you cite from other publication, just copy and paste, but just cite the diagram. So as long it has contained new contributions, you can publish a review paper. Then after you have a review paper, you will, at the end of the review paper, at the conclusion of review paper, you will have a conclusion, and sometimes you have a conclusion and future directions. So when you do a conclusion of review paper, you can see what is the novelty of your work. For example, I give you here, you do a research on a water treatment. I'm sorry, I give an example of water treatment because I am doing a research on the field of water treatment. So for example, you do a water treatment, you do a absorption process for the heavy metal, for example. Then you do the review for all types of heavy metal. And suddenly you find that, oh, there are no research that do this, for example, that do this absorbent to that heavy metal. So you find the idea. So that is the steps where you find your novelty. So when you find that novelty, you will do your research as your objective of your work. So that objective is actually, you can transfer it into short communications. So perhaps, for example, when you have do your review, you find one novelty, then you do the work, you will get 3 to 4 results, or maybe 2 to 3 results, 1 table. So you can publish in short communication. So short communication here is this paper present an original and important contributions. So the novelty of the work is commonly 90% and above. The paper usually contains 2 to 3 results with 1 table data only. Certain journal is very strict. Some journals, they require only 3,000 number of words to be published in a short communication, because yes, it's called short communication. So for example, you go to the lab and then you go and then you do your work and then you get results, and then it was very good result. So I suggest you to publish in short communication first. So after you have published in the short communication, then you will continue your work in detail, right? So for example, you will have a graph. For example, you have a graph to show that yes, this work can be done, this work can be success. So you will do a detail. For example, in water treatment, there are many testing. You can do effect of pH, effect of temperature, effect of composition. Then it was put on the full paper, which is step number 3. So when you have a detailed data, you will publish your research in a full paper. So what is the full paper? So full paper is the paper that provides detailed studies, a continuous study with detailed data from short communication. So from your short communication, at the conclusion, so for the short communication paper, at the conclusion of the short communication, you can tell that you can tell that your future work is in process, which will be published in a next paper. So full paper is actually a satisfactory level of novelty. So when you have published your short communication, you will publish all your data on full paper. So that is the satisfactory level of novelty, because it includes all the data, all the details about your work that you found the novelty from review paper. Then it contains deep discussion and interpretation of the results from all aspects. So full paper is a very detailed paper. It's not like a short communication, and it's not like a review paper. Review paper is a paper that is discussing a previous work. Short communication is introducing your work, the new novelty of your work.
Can you please wait for a while
Yes.
because someone just turn on
Yes.
the microphone because this is distracting the others. So, Nor Fiji, please turn off your microphone because you are distracting the others to listen to our session for today. Nor Fiji, I'm really sorry, but because you turn off your microphone now. Yeah,
Okay. So continue. Okay, so what I can tell you about what is full paper is it contains a deep discussion and interpretation of the result from all aspects. Okay, so please, I suggest you to have this complete set of paper if you have a very novel work. So this is structure of review paper. So this is what I do. This is the complete set of paper that I do. So first, I do the literature review for my paper. So so this is the title. As you can see, it shows you that it review from fabrication and application of a technology, which is a comprehensive review. So it's a very detailed review. I I do a lot of table. I copy and paste a lot of important diagram and picture, and then at the last of the review paper, I found that there is something that's not have been done by a researcher, by a previous researcher, which has been my research during my PhD. So review paper usually have title, abstract, and keywords, and then it will have introduction, literature review, proposed taxonomy, deep discussion, and then for the conclusion, acknowledgement, reference, and supplementary material. So what I want to tell you about the review paper here is at the conclusion, it must be brief and comprehensive. Avoid repeating sentence. So when you're doing a conclusion, which is sometimes they put a conclusion and future direction in the review article. So your conclusion is showing you that what have previous research do, what is previous research do about your field, and then what you found, what your idea. Just tell your idea in that review paper because that sentence will help you to publish in high impact journals because researcher editors they want to know what your idea is and then they want to publish. Perhaps they will take your short communication and full paper. So automatically you will have complete set of paper. And if you have any supplementary material that not so necessary to be put in the review paper or any other paper, you can put in supplementary material. So this is the mini review paper that I said that there are two types of there are two types of review, which is review and mini review. Let me show you the mini review. So this is a mini review. It's a very short review. So actually, if you have, for example, like your works, your field of work is start at 2010. So normally that field will not have so many papers. So you can do a mini review instead of review paper. So in your mini review, I suggest you to do your own diagram. You cite a previous paper. You describe previous work. Then you do your own understanding, your own mechanism. You draw it by yourself so that you can publish in the mini review. So this is the mini review, a very short review. So for example, like this, I said to you, you can draw the method by yourself. Which is sometimes the previous work they just telling you in the word in a sentence. They describe the work in the sentence, but you can turn it into a diagram. It become more interesting to the readers to read your mini review. So this is the mini review. So now we go to the short communications. So this is short communication. So short communication is very short. So it contains 3 to 4 pages only. So I don't have example. I will show you the example after this. So structure of short communication, they have title. They have title, abstract, and keyword. So every paper have title, abstract, keyword. Then in short communication, you will have introduction, experimental procedures, discussion. So what is the difference of short communication and review paper and full paper is the introduction short. The introduction is short. The experimental procedure is short. The discussion is also short. So introduction, you should just explain directly what is your work is going to be. And then experimental procedure is also very short. And then if you have any explanation that you want to put in the manuscript, I suggest you to transfer it into supplementary information because short communication has limited words. It sometimes some journals has allow us to do a 3,000 words only, including reference and titles. So it needs to be very short but concise. And for the discussion, you must present the important research data only, a new finding, because short communication introduce your novelty, your new work. Okay. So now this is the structure of full paper. So I think everyone know what is the full paper because everyone will do the full paper first. But please, but I would like to give you an advice. Please do a do a review paper first because it will allow you to know many literature review that you can do later on your full paper. So full paper also contain the structure of full paper also contain a same element as in a review paper, but the difference is it has a deep discussion. The deep discussion here means that you are discuss your own data, your own result, very detailed, including a reference by other, and then explain the trend of your result and so on. Now, after you have a knowledge about type of journals that you can publish, you can choose a journal. So this is the tool for journal selection tools. So normally I'm using a Elsevier journal finder. So there are a lot journal selection tools. But if you have a target journal, I think just go on for the target journal. Okay. So sometimes if you have the sometimes by using these tools, it can provide you to know the acceptance rate and so on about the journal that you would like to choose. So this is the journal validity tools. So some journals, they just, for example, the Elsevier, they just show you the impact factor of the journal. They doesn't show you the rank of the journal, whether it is Q1 or Q2 or Q3 or Q4. So this is the tool to find what is the journal rank. So for the Web of Science, is a normal website to find the rank of the journals. So others also can be used with, for example, like Schemago, Google Scholar, and Scopus. So this is example of Elsevier Journal Finder. Okay, let's say you have a manuscript and you don't know where to publish. So just go to the Elsevier Journal Finder and then you will open this website. So it will ask you to copy and paste your title, your abstract, your keywords, and field of research. And then after you copy and paste, you click Find Journal. Okay, so then this will be pop-up. So when you put your abstract and your title, the website will link to the appropriate journal that you can publish. So this is the list of the journals which I copy and paste my manuscript, and then this has been pop up. So what is the criteria, the important criteria that you should choose? There are three, which is first is the acceptance rate. So this is important. It is very important to students, PhD and master. So you want your paper, your manuscript to be accepted. So just choose the journal that has the high acceptance rate. Okay. Then second, you can choose the time to first decision. Sometimes the acceptance rate is higher, but it take a long time to have the decision, which is means you will have a long review. For example, I have experience in publish in some journals my review paper. So it takes almost 1 year, I think. So that's why time to first decision is very important. And then third, I have misspelling. So third is the time to publications. So this is not so important actually, because as long as your paper has been accepted, so it will be published, but in it will call as in press. Okay, in press. Okay, so the time publication is, some journals they have long times publications, which is it will not pop up the volume and page number. Okay, now we go on to the writing process, which is our main aim for our talk today. The strategies to publish in high impact factor. So remember these steps. General step to start writing. You have IMRAD, I for introduction, M for methodology, R for results, and D for discussion. Okay, some people, they will write result first. Okay, because they will do the results, and then they will do the results, and then uh, they will know what they will going to publish. But for me, this is my what I do. This is my opinion, and what I do the introduction first. This is because when I do the introduction, I will get the literature review from previous work, and sometimes when I do the literature in introduction, so I will find the trend of the result. So when you do your result, your work, your lab testing, you have the expected result. For example, the graph should be increased, but suddenly your graph go to the decreasing. So you will know the reason when you do the introduction. So that is from my opinion. So then after I do the introduction, I do the methods, because from the introduction, I will know the best method to be used, the best material, the best composition. Then I will do the methodology, my own methodology, which I modified from previous work. Then after the methodology, I will do the result. So the result and discussion. So 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 there are some tips to publish actually. So you can read from previous work. For example, you take one paper, your favorite paper. For example, you like the paper from that author, the paper, only one paper. You take the paper as an example. You see what is the result that he or she published. So for example, they have 10 results. So you just follow the 10 results, and then you publish your own manuscript. But of course, your result will be different. But the type of the experiment you copy from the result. So now, how to write an introduction. So I have experience in publishing from my first paper and until a last paper. So the introduction is very important actually. So yes, for the first time you write, you will not know what is the mistakes you have done in the introduction. So what you should have in introduction. So first is explain the background and context. So make it simple and clear. Directly drive the reader to the problem, motivation, and significance of the word. Don't make it an extensive essay. Write the introduction in a structure. So as a postdoctoral, my supervisor give me the PhD student of his PhD student to read their paper. So what I can comment from their paper for the first paper. Normally, the first paper, their introduction is too long. Sometimes 5 pages. So actually, when you want to publish, your introduction cannot be too long. This is not thesis. This is a manuscript. So you must be detailed, but make it simple and clear. So I must suggest you that the introduction must consist 1 to 2 pages only. So start with the general. In the first paragraph, start with the general, and then at the last sentence of the first paragraph, tell what is the problem, and then what is the solution. And then that solution you explain in the second paragraph, and then same for the third paragraph. And then for the last paragraph, you should highlight your novelty. So in introduction, you need to define aims, which is objective of the paper. Be specific. The wider study is probably not that relevant. Avoid referencing to any PhD and master thesis. Okay, why we need to avoid this? This is because when you cite a PhD or master thesis, so it shows that your work does not novel. There are not so much novel, and perhaps you are copying other people's works. So that's why I want to say here, avoid referencing to any PhD and master thesis. Okay, so tell the novelty of the work. Use best word to describe the novelty of the work, such as far as we are concerned, and so on. So this is what I'm telling you. At the last paragraph of your introduction, you can express your novelty, the novelty of your manuscript. So for example, like as far as we are concerned, there are no study towards the fabrication of blah blah blah. Okay, you can use this word to describe your novelty, or maybe your work is the first time ever. You can use the for the first time this work aim to. Okay, so normally reviewer will see this sentence. They want to know what is your novelty. Is this manuscript uh, appropriate to publish in this journal or not? Okay. So now it's writing a methodology. So when you're writing a methodology, state the brand and country of the material you purchase. So be detailed in your methodology. It will help you to publish easily. And then define all the short term you use, such as N-methylpyrrolidone for NMP, maybe SRD. What is SRD for? And so on. Then provide all the equation you use. Okay, provide the citation of the previous work if the present paper is continuing work. So for example, if you are doing a previous work and some modification has been, and for example, you do a previous work and you do some modification on that work, so please cite. Okay, so that reviewer will know that you are do a previous work and then you do a modification. So that is your novelty. The modification you did is your novelty. Then I would like to give some tips from my supervisor. So when you're writing a methodology, my supervisor like diagrams, like a schematic diagrams. So please draw a schematic diagram explaining the procedure. Make your paper beautiful, make your paper colorful. So that's not only editors, not only readers, but reviewer will accept the paper just a minor comment. Okay? So now it's writing a results and discussions. So the result should be drawn in a graph or table beautifully. Make it interesting. Explain the result in a simple word so that readers and reviewer can understand. So avoid to use a very long sentence, which is sometimes until five lines. Okay, avoid that. So structure of writing the result. So from my experience, I'm using this structure. So first is you describe the result first. For example, you have a data, a graph. So you describe the result. For example, like figure A shows a decreasing trend of whatever. And then state the observation from the graph. You state, so samples A is increasing at the temperature of what? So please be details on your graph. And then after that, you explain the reason for the trend. You say that this is because what? Why the trend is become like that? Okay, then try to write a new mechanism or equation. It will be interesting if you can provide the mechanism with a drawing. Again, drawing. So actually drawing your own schematic diagram that you draw can be interesting and can make your manuscript to be published easily. Okay, because the reviewer will automatically understand what you are going to tell from the diagram. So if there is time, I will show you how to draw the some pictures using PowerPoint, because I just using a PowerPoint. So use proper tool for draw a graph such as origin and PowerPoint. So this is very important. So as you can see from publication, from journals that have been published, a paper, their results have been published beautifully. Beautifully. So they draw a tables. They draw a graph which is they draw the graph clearly. What I mean is, some persons, they draw their graph in the Excel, and the line is not straight. Sometimes the legend is not is not correct. Please don't do that. Okay, this is your paper. You want to publish, and you want all the researchers around the world to read. So make it proper. So I am suggesting you to use Origin. Okay, you can use Origin. So perhaps GSA after this can do Origin talk, right? There are a lot of lecturer and academician can talk about Origin, how to do a bit, how to draw your results. Very good. Okay, then for online drawing, there are many tools, online tool, Microsoft Visio, and so on. But for me, I prefer Microsoft PowerPoint. If that I will show you if there is time. Okay, so now we are going to writing a conclusion. So for when you're writing a conclusion, conclude the summary of the work. For example, how many samples have been tested, procedure to prepare the sample. So when I do a paper, when I writing my manuscript, I will send to my supervisor to check for me. And then my supervisor will always comment my conclusion. Please put some value, the best value that you obtain. Excuse me. Then after that, you can identify any limitation, make recommendation for future research. So this is also important. So some of your work, so for example, you have published your first paper, then you want to have second paper, right? Because you have, for PhD, they have 3 objectives. For master, at least 2 objectives. So one paper for 1 objective. So of course, you want to have another publication. So from the first publication, you can tell the recommendation and limitation at the conclusion. So for example, that you can say that this work will be do in our future work, and or it can be also you can also state that it is in progress in our lab, or and so on. And then in a conclusion, you can also discuss any implication or impact for theory. And lastly, you can avoid writing the conclusion in points. So some of journals, I see that they writing the conclusion in points, but my supervisor advised me to not writing in points, because when you write in points, you like put a questionnaire in that conclusion, because this is conclusion. It is a very short. You summarize all your work and then you tell the future direction. Okay. So now it's writing an abstract. So this is also important after introductions. So this is actually the number one important, because when you submit to a journal, so the editor will see the abstract first. So you need to write properly your abstract. So first of all, you need to check the limitation for number of words required. Normally, it's required 1,050 words. Some journals require 100 words. Some journal no limitation. Okay, so please check first, because abstract is very important, so that you need to know the number of words, so you can be concise and detailed in a very short words. So then it start with short introduction, methodology, result, and discussion and conclusion. So this is very important. Please write your abstract in this structure. Start with introduction. Put the introduction as 1 sentence only. Don't write your introduction in abstract too long, because this is not introduction, this is abstract. So a very short introduction, and then a very short methodology, what the technology you use, or maybe what is the composition you use. Then you put a result, the best result, or maybe the average result you obtain. And then you put the conclusion and some future direction also in the abstract, which is the conclusion is you can state that what is the optimum parameters that you choose. So by doing this, the readers will eager to read your paper after publish. Okay, that's why abstract is very important. Then state the best result for you obtain for the work. State the new theory or mechanism or equation you obtain for the work. So perhaps you will obtain your novelty in terms of mechanism or equation. Put in the abstract, but not write the abstract, or not state the mechanism in detail. Just give the term. So that's make the reviewer want to read the whole of your manuscript, and then this can avoid your manuscript to be rejected. Okay, then you can use conjunctive adverbs to structure your abstract, such as in addition, however, furthermore, interestingly, and so on. Okay, I'm sorry. Okay, now it's graphical abstract. Okay, graphical abstract is optional for certain journals, and some journals they re- they it is a compulsory. But for me, I recommend you to do a graphical abstract, which is again it's advised by my supervisor, as my supervisor like diagram, right? So actually, I think when editor see your graphical abstract, they will immediately understand what your work is without reading your abstract. So that's why I say that graphical abstract is very important. So do your graphical abstract, do your abstract in graphical, which that can be understand. So make sure it can be um it can be understand. Okay, so this is some example of my graphical abstract. Okay, you just put your mechanism and some results of your works in the graphical abstract. So now it's writing a title. So you should use bombastic words such as facile, grain, novel, inspired, feasibility. Okay, so this means that by doing this, you can show that your work is a new work, is a novel, is a very good. Okay, so there is some title that I am interested, which is, as you can see in the slide, it's right by Mirror Mirror on the Wall. Can visual illusions be used to trick people into eating less? Very good, right? So you can use that. What is the famous terms nowadays? You can use to describe your titles. Okay, so this is some writing tips. Use phrase bank. So I have my own phrase bank. So when I doing my review, I will I will I will I will write down some sentence which is very good to use in my paper. So this actually helps you to write faster. Okay, you just use their sentence and then put your details and your results. Okay, so actually I have the phrase bank that get from my friends. So if you want, I will give to Shabri, and maybe Shabri can upload in the GSA Facebook maybe, uh, that I will share to the Shabri. Okay. Okay.
Sure. Doctor, do you need any rest or break?
Um, no need.
Okay, okay. We
Okay.
just
Okay. So now it's writing tips. Avoid plagiarism. So actually, this is this is the tip from Dr. Zaini. If you know, he is the director or what in the JSA, right? So this is a writing tip from Dr. Zaini. So Dr. Zaini is my colleague when I doing my master. So it's a very good trick actually. So when you do a paper, when you're writing a paper, so you want to avoid the plagiarisms, and some sentence you cannot do by your own, because there is fact that is a fact. So it's very difficult to change sometimes, right? So this is history. So he said that combine 3 to 4 sentences from different paper into one. So I give some example here. So I have copy and paste three papers. Okay. So I combine it into one sentence. Okay. So when you check it into the 10 and or any plagiarism tools, you will know plagiarism. So this is a very interesting tip that you can follow. Okay, So another writing tips is touch up your results. So please don't just copy and paste from the power from your Excel or whatsoever. So please make your results very good. Make the result very good. Okay, so perhaps you can put some diagrams, some picture to explain the trend of your graph, or maybe you can see the water droplet here, the contact angle. So the contact angle has the value in degree, so I show it in a diagram of the contact angle, so make it interesting. Okay, so another writing tips is writing discussions. So sometimes it is difficult to write a paper because we have no idea to write. Okay, so what I do is I take a paper. For example, I take my supervisor paper, and then my supervisor has a different field of me. He doing a SOFC, solid oxide fuel cell, but I doing water treatment. So I take his sentence and I change the results only. So actually, when you plagiarism, it will not be a plagiarism because the details, the data, the results of the value of your result is different. So this is also a writing tip that you can do. Okay, so perhaps this can help you to write faster. Okay, so now after you have a manuscript, we go to the submission process. So then you can submit your manuscript. Okay, after you have submit to your supervisor for checking, then you will submit. So I don't know. You for UTHM, you submit by yourself or maybe your supervisor submit. But I will show you how to submit. Okay. In other words, if you want to submit by yourself. Okay. So first, you need to have cover letter. So in the cover, what you need to have a cover letter. So cover letter is very important. You should state first journal name. Okay. Then you need to have a title of your manuscript, and then number 3 is the reason why you choose the particular journal. Okay. So um, normally for number 3, I just copy and paste my abstract. Okay, so you can just explain a little bit at the first sentence at the first sentence, and then you copy and paste your abstract. Okay, then put the list of reviewers and then statement of novelty. Okay, some journals they need to upload uh, what we call a document that state novelty. So you just state the novelty in 2 to 3 lines at the separate document, and then just upload. So that is the statement of novelty. Sometimes they state as a declaration of interest or whatsoever. Okay, then you can have your supervisor sign for the corresponding author signature. Okay, so please be mind that as a student, our supervisor is a corresponding author. So student will be the first author. Okay. So this is the preparing a list of reviewers. So this is actually also a trick to submit into a high impact factor. Okay, when you submit to impact factor journals, you will need to list the reviewer. So as you can see from the list is the click of my supervisor. Okay, so you can ask your supervisor who should be the reviewer, but not all. Okay, for example, like in number 3, I put uh, uh, a reviewer from my reference. Okay, so another tips is when you want to submit into a Ceramic International, for example, you want to submit to the Journal of Ceramic International, so please cite at least 5 to 6 reference from Ceramic International. So this is to tackle the editors. Okay, now is highlight. Okay, highlight is not compulsory for certain journal, but some journals they require a highlight. So highlight is actually um, uh, a short sentence describe your works. Okay, they consist of short collection of bullet points that convey the core findings of the article and should be submitted in a separate editable file in the online submission system. So please use highlight in the file name and include 3 to 5 bullet points. So maximum of the highlights allowable is 85 character, including space and per bullet point. So now I would like to show you if there is some of you doesn't know how to submit your paper by your own. Okay, now for example, this is the Ceramic International website. So it is Elsevier journal. So I don't know how to submit in other journals. For example, like Willy and Talent franchise. I think it's same because I don't have experience in submitting into that different publisher. So if you're willing to submit into Elsevier, so this is the step. So first you need to click submit your paper. Then you fill the username of your supervisor and password. So please use your supervisor password because he or she is the corresponding author for your manuscript. So the one that submit the manuscript from the online web is the corresponding author. Okay. So then click submit new manuscript. Okay. After that, choose article type. So this is what I have explained previously. So there are a lot of article type. There is full length article, short communication, review articles, corresponding editor, and so on. SI is the special issue. So if you have go to the conference and the conference have special issue, so you can select from that. So if you have a review article, select review article. Okay. So the article types is very important. So after you have select the article type, you can copy and paste your title of manuscript into this section and then insert all the author's details. Okay, so for example, you have 7 authors. So put all the author's details. Do not miss. Okay, when you miss, it will be difficult if you get published, if you get accepted. Because when you want to add, you want to add um other authors that not submitting at the first place, so it will have further process. For example, you need to prepare a document and then you need to have all signature from authors. So for example, you have author from overseas, from other institutions. So it's quite difficult to get the signature from the authors, right? So please be careful when you insert the author's detail when you submit your manuscript. And then copy and paste your abstract. So this is what I tell you, the limit. So for this journal, it has limit 300 words. So please copy and paste the abstract from the manuscript. The abstract in the website should be same with the manuscript. Okay. Then you can add the keywords. So keywords is very important to make your paper being cited by many researchers. So when you for example you open the Science Direct, then you type your field, your work, or your title. So that is the keyword actually. So for example, you put a wastewater treatment, so it will pop up for the journals that have this keyword. Okay, so put the best keyword for your work, for your manuscript. And then this is additional information. So it is very simple. So first is this is what I said to you, very for the change of author. So if you agree, it's very difficult to change author after the acceptance. So please be careful with the authors. And then this is the funded research of acknowledgement section of your submission. So if your supervisor pay for your research work, so please state in the acknowledgement. Okay. Now choose and write the suggested review. So previously I have telling you that you should prepare the list of reviewer. So fill all the reviewers in this section. Okay, put the first name, the last name, institution, and email address. So email address is very important when you select a suggested review. Okay, so if the editors take the reviewers and then the email email of the reviewers is not active, so it will make your peer review process longer. Okay. So fill the opposed reviewer, if any. Okay, some journal they ask you to fill in the opposed review. So from my side of view, I think please let this blank, because sometimes when you put the opposed reviewers, the editor will choose. Okay, so from my opinion, please let this blank. Okay, and then after you have filled all the information, you can attach all the required files. So as you can see from the list item, there are star, right? So star means it is compulsory to be uploaded. Okay, so some journals they ask you to separate the figure and table from the manuscript. So you should separate the figure and table from the manuscript. And some journals they also require you to separate the titles. So separate as asked from the journals. So after you have submit, so wait for the review process. So sometimes some journals some journals they will directly go to the review process if there is no problem, and if you are out of scope and so on, they will reject. Okay, so this is what happened behind the scenes. Okay, why your paper is being rejected before go to the peer review. So this is why. So you as the author, and then the first thing is when your paper go to the journal editorial board, it will check the similarity check, which is check your plagiarism. Okay, so normally the similarity check for the Elsevier is quite hard. So I suggest before you submit your manuscript to journals, so please do the e-in first, then e-in also on any other plagiarism tools, so that you will not being rejected because of the similarity check. Okay, so after the similarity check, okay, they will go to the language qualitative relativity. This means that this section, this part, it will go to the process of checking your grammar and your English. So if your papers is okay to be published because of your results, but the English is not okay, so the editorial board will give it to you back and ask to correct your English. Some journals they will directly reject your paper because your English. But if that happen, never mind. You just send your manuscript to proofreading, and then you submit again. Okay. And then after the language and quality relativity is okay, then they go to screening, and then they go to AE. So AE is very important. What is AE? AE is associate editor. It is responsible for communication with reviewer of a research manuscript. So AE will screen your manuscript again, and then they will send it to the reviewer. So some journals they require many reviewers. I have experience that my manuscript have been reviewed with 7 reviewers. Okay, so some journals they only have 1 reviewer. Okay, so this is very important. So the possible verdicts, okay, why you are being rejected before go to peer review process. So this is always the reason why. So out of scope, so this is normal. Some journals, you think that your paper is in their scope, right? Okay, so do not emotional, okay, because I also experienced the same things. Okay, when the journal reject your paper and say that out of scope, never mind, just go to other journals. Okay, just publish in other journals. This is because they have high acceptance rate, so many researchers send their works to that journal, so perhaps they will reject because your novelty is not too strong. Okay. Second is reject before or after review. So this is the same. Reject, resubmission is not recommended. So when this is happen, this is because it is the editorial board tell you that your work does not have novelty. Okay, so they will reject you. So this, when you have this, does not submit again. Okay, so but when you reject, because of English, because of technical check, so you can resubmission after amendment is done. Okay, for example, you have sent your manuscript to proofread, so you can resubmit again to the same journal. Okay, then the minor correction and major correction. Okay, please be careful in this process, because sometimes they will lead you to rejection if they're not satisfied with your answer. Okay, and lastly is accept. So this is this is very great if you submit your journals and then got accept without any corrections. So okay, so what should you do if your paper got rejected? So appeal the rejection. So some journals, they're rejected with comments. So you correct, you revise your manuscript according to the comments, and then after you have revised your manuscript based on their comments, you can resubmit to the same journal. Okay, and make change, or you can also make change and submit to a different journal. Sometimes you will get rejected by journals that have low impact factor. For example, you get rejected by a journal that have the impact factor is 2. But sometimes when you revise your manuscript and then you resubmit to another journal that have higher impact factor, for example like 5, sometimes the journal will accept your paper. So just try your luck. Okay, so make no changes and submit to another journal. So this is what I always do. Okay, when I got rejected, I will not do anything. I will submit to another journal. So because what is very important is do not give up. Okay, so yeah, do not give up. So I also have experience being rejected for 14 times. So although I have a lot of publications, but I also have experience in rejections. Okay, so yeah, supervisor is very important. As I share you here, my supervisor asked me to not give up. So after 14 times, which is the 15th time, lastly, I got published in a Q3 journals. Okay, so the main point here is do not give up. So general reason reviewer reject your paper. So this is just a general reason. So first is the manuscript present is an obvious fashion and written in standard English. So I am advising you, before you submit your paper, please send to the proofread as long as you think your English is good, so no need. But for me, I'm not a mother tongue. I am a Malay, so my English is not so good. So obviously, I will go to the proofread first, so that there are no rejected because of language and English. And then, is the methodology correct? Make sure your methodology correct. Some reviewer is in the same field with you. So when he or she look to the methodology and there is something wrong, so of course they will reject. Okay, so maybe you can do a diagram. You can sketch the diagram to make it clear, like I tell you before. So is the manuscript technically sound, and do the data supports the conclusion? So this is also important. So when you discuss your results, you not support any reference, you not support any mechanism happen to your data. So it will lead to the rejection also. So next is has the statistical analysis been performed accurately and rigorously? So some journals, they ask you some reviewer will ask you how many samples you have been done, which is what we call standard deviation. So please put the standard deviation in the paper, the number of sample you test in the paper. And then have the author made all data underlying the finding in their manuscript fully available. So here, this point is you need to tell everything about your data in your paper. Don't worry, okay? Don't worry. Some people they think that if they publish, they will be copied by others. So don't worry, okay? Actually, it is safe if you publish, okay? So don't afraid that don't keep your work secret, don't keep your results secret. Tell other about your work. Tell the world that you have done that and you have successfully get the results, okay? So is the work repeatable or reproducible? So if you copy others' work and there are no modification, obviously it will be rejected because there are no novelty. Okay, and then are the reference up to date and sufficient? Okay, please cite a paper that at least 10 years back, okay, so that the reference will be up to date. Now is how to deal with reviewers. So respect the opinions of reviewers. Even they are wrong, answer politely. Okay, some reviewer, they will comment something that you will not understand. It's okay. You just thank you for the reviewer comments. So actually, you just state what actually about what actually you try to tell. Okay, make the reviewer understands. Perhaps you can put a diagram in the answer for reviewer. Okay, so that the reviewer will understand what you are trying to describe. Then you should fulfill what have been requested by the reviewer. Otherwise, you reply by a polite, reasonable explanation. So if the reviewer asks you to add some result, for example, the reviewer asks you to add some some samples, which is not enough dating. So of course you don't want to add your samples, right? Your work lab is finished, so why you should do again, right? So it's okay. You can answer it politely why you don't want to do. Okay, you said that the sample is actually what? If you do the sample, what will happen? Just explain in the answer for reviewer. So even if they ask you stupid or silly question, you should answer it professionally. Some reviewers, they are annoying, right? So they just ask you a question that you cannot answer. Relax, okay? You try to answer them professionally. Okay, try to tell them what is your work. Okay, because your passion is actually can lead to the publication of your journals. Okay, then is do not mix the comments. So don't answer at a different section. So you should prepare answer to reviewer structurally. Even if two reviewers give you the same comment, you must answer them separately. For example, you have received two reviewers for your manuscript. So and the reviewers have same question. So you should answer them separately with the same answer. Okay. Highlight your correction in the manuscript. Okay, if you added some description, some information in the manuscript, in your revised manuscript, please highlight that. So please highlight that you have made some amendment in your manuscript. Do not modify the comment. So if the comments is you have received 10 comments from a reviewer, then you don't know how to answer the comment number 10, then you delete. No, don't do that. Okay? This will lead to the rejection. Do not add any requested material that may lead to another review round. So if the reviewer not ask you anything about something, so don't put something that may lead to question for the reviewer. Okay. So sample of answer to reviewer. So I would like to share with you sample of answer to reviewer. Can you see my screen here now?
Yes, I can see it. Okay, it's okay. No.
Okay.
Enlarge it small.
Small?
Yes, enlarge it small. Enlargement.
Okay. Is it okay now?
Yes, it's okay. As
Okay.
for me, it's okay. Yes.
Okay. So this is a sample. This is my the answer for reviewer from my journals that I said that I have received 7 reviewers. So this is the reviewer, the answer to reviewer for that journals. So do the structure. Okay, do like this. Okay, first you write the title, and then you put the manuscript number, and then you put the title of your manuscript. And then politely you write this: dear editor, I am pleased to submit the revised version of blah blah blah. And then you should also thank the editor and reviewer for careful review of the manuscript and providing comment and suggestion to improve the quality of the manuscript and blah blah. Okay, so answer them politely. Okay, and then tell them what has been you revised. So tell them here, you have revised the manuscript with change mark, and then you have highlight the with yellow color for the for the um, for the modification that you have been made. Okay, so this is the example for reviewer number one. So in this comment, the reviewer asked me to state the roles of an MP, RSL, and PES. So edit what the reviewer asked into the manuscript. Okay, like I say, first I suggest you to thank the reviewer first. So write the thank you so much for reviewer comment first. Then you say that you have drawn, you have redrawn. Just follow what the reviewer comments. Okay. Okay. What else I want to show? Okay, this one. They doesn't understand. The reviewer doesn't understand what is my sentence. What I am trying to tell in the manuscript. Okay, so I am telling him in the simple word here with a diagram. Okay, so you should do this so that the reviewer can understand. Okay, then the reviewer asked me to add to add some to add to add some results, another results, which is I not do any results. So I don't have any result that what he asked. So what I do is I explain it that I cannot do it in the short time because it's require what, and then I provide the expected result. Okay, you can do the expected result trend to show to the reviewers. Okay, just draw a expected, which is you expect the result to be what. Okay, and then okay, this is also the expected result. Okay, what else? Okay, this one is the reviewer does not understand why why in the result happen. So you can describe in diagram like this as I explained to you before. You can describe it. Okay, you can draw the composition here, and then you do the technique here, and then this is your result. So actually, the SEM image is the result that I publish in manuscript, but I not publish this diagram, the powder and the diagram. So I only publish the SEM image, but the reviewer does not understand what I'm telling in the paper. So that's why I describe like this for him. Okay. Okay. What else more important? So sometimes the reviewer will ask you to cite some paper. So just cite. Okay. What else can I show you? Wait. Okay, for example, like this. So so the reviewer asked me to prove your results with some new experiment. So I don't have any choice. So I need to do a test to prove the results, to prove my data. So if you have received the review comment like this, so just do. Okay, because if the reviewer is not satisfied with your answer, perhaps it can lead to the rejection. So we want to avoid the rejection, so just follow what reviewer wants. Okay. Okay, I think there are no important. I will also share this review if you want. So later I will share with you. Wait, okay, here we are. Where we are. Okay, so that is sample for answer to reviewers. Then is some other tips. So before we end the talk, so this is some other tips. Okay, so this is you need to proofread your manuscript. So this is the persons that I always use to proofread my papers, and I think they are good. Okay, you can try if you want. Then other tips is carefully write your abstract. Need to state intro, method, result, and conclusion. Then choose your reviewers wisely. Okay, normally select from your reference as I have explained before. Choose your supervisor college if you can. Use referencing tools. So this also is important. Please do not manually do your reference. Use referencing tools and not or manually. Okay, so sometimes you can also use EndNote or Mendeley to what we call to structure your paper, to format your paper. Okay, I will show you later because I'm using EndNote. I will show the EndNote how EndNote can help you to uh, to do a reference for your paper. And then last but not least, never give up. If get rejected, submit to another journal. Okay, so before I end, I would like to show how I draw if you want to see. Very simple. Okay. Okay, I always share this how to draw this with my friends, and sometimes they draw better than me. So perhaps when you see this, you can draw better than me. So now, as I am doing a membrane, a hollow fiber membrane, so I can show the hollow fiber module. Okay, so how you can draw a 3D what we call 3D picture using a PowerPoint is, okay, first you do a 2D first. So this is hollow, right? So this is the circles. So just choose the colors. Okay. So select all and then group. Go to the shape effects. So first is go to the rotation, any rotation you want. So for example, like this, like this. And then go to the format shape, and then you can go to the 3D format, and then select the depth. Okay, for example, 100. Okay, or maybe 200. So you will 300. So you can do the 3D like this. Okay, or perhaps I draw what else I can show. Yeah. Okay, perhaps okay. Okay, perhaps you want to draw like this module. So you just do okay. We try again. Just do a lot of that, and then I'll just show you the basic. So if you want to use PowerPoint, so go on, because I think it's quite easy to use PowerPoint other than other tools. First, you need to change the color, and then this fields you should put no fill. So just put here, copy and paste, put in the all to be. Okay. Now you should select all. Off. Select all, okay? Then you go to the same ways, you go to the 3D rotation, for example, like this. Then you go to the draft again. Then you can draw like this. Okay, so that is how you can draw. So this is a hollow fiber. If you want to draw a rectangle, you can draw like rectangle only, and then go to the shape effect, play with this kind of rotation. Okay, and now I would like also to share with you how you use the endnotes referencing. Okay, when you choosing a journal, for example, you want to publish in Ceramic International. Ceramic International. Okay, then you put the endnote here. Okay, endnote style. So when you click the Ceramic International EndNote, there is the download style here. You click the download style. Then this is for EndNote. Okay, I don't know how to use Mendeley. So if is there anyone that use EndNote, you can use this stick. Okay, you can install the EndNote. So this is the style. So then you just save. So Ceramic International. Okay, so save. So when you have a paper, for example, you have you have if you have a manuscript. So for example, this is the manuscript. Okay, so you will have this kind of format. Okay, you have this kind of format. So these journals require this kind of format: name first, and then title, and so on. So for example, you want to change the reference because you want to submit to another journal. So you use EndNotes. So this is the material latest journal. So you choose from here. Select another. So go to the Ceramic International here. Okay, understand? So just click. So it will change. Okay, the format will change easily. So my advice is please do not use manual. Okay, because it will make you difficult if you want to submit to another journal. Okay. Okay, I think that's all. If there is any questions, you can ask me.
Thank you to the speaker for such an informative and interesting topic. Now we are opening for Q&A session. Okay, I think we should open firstly from the chat box. Maybe there is some question from the audience. Let me read first.
Okay, just read.
So, Doctor, we have a question. This is from Hajah Hana.
Yeah.
Can we submit the same topic with different objectives or change the topic and discussion?
What? Can you speak again?
I repeat again. If the paper was rejected, can we submit the same topic with different objectives and change the new topic and discussion?
Is that mean resubmit into same journal?
Yeah, I mean so yeah.
Same journal. He said that. She said that. What she changed?
He just changed the objective and the topic and discussion, but I sent it to the.
Okay. So actually, when you got rejected, I don't advise you to change the discussion. Oh my God! Oh, it's quite. It will be difficult to write again, right? So please don't change your discussions. Just change your title. Okay. If you do that, you can also resubmit into the same journals because sometimes it will be a different editor will receive your journals, your manuscript. So actually, sometimes there are no reason why you got rejected. They just reject you because their journal is so famous. They have high publication. So maybe your title is not so novel for them. So just change your title. So that is my advice.
Okay, moving on. If you guys have any question you want to ask personally, you guys can turn on your microphone by now. Okay.
Hello, good morning.
Hello.
Yeah, good morning, doctor. How are you?
Okay, I'm fine.
Yes, doctor. I'm Johnny Pham, and I have, I think it's a little bit technical question about the research novelty
Okay.
because I think most researchers like have their own kind of novelties, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then I think it's crucial for us as a researcher to get involved in the research to pin down the novelty at the first place. So I would like to know, how do you manage to restructure your idea to become a crystal clear novelty, that this is your novelty? And as far as I know, not everything need to be new to be found, or need to be something that you the only one that do that in this entire world. So it might be just some modifications into the method, and it might be some explanation into other field of testing, like let's say like a biological response, because let's say in you doing the materials too, and we know that materials have this sequence of testing process. Some others are very uh, 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 what we call that, very crucial in knowing their biological response. So means that in vitro maybe not enough study, and then you need to carry on the study into the in vivo. My point is that a little bit modification on the methodology itself can be considered as a novelty of a research, because in engineering field, as we know, some of our panels, or I'm talking about panels and other reviewers, did not accept that a modification into the methodology is just a method of doing things. They sometimes claim that not a novelty at all. So how do you discuss that matters? Because some of the papers I see, one of your papers is a modification into the methodology of this observant process. So how can you share with us how to pin down this to become crystal clear novelty? So I think you got what I mean, yeah?
Yes, I think I know. Okay, it's quite long question.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. No, it's just a little bit long, because whatever that research we need to carry on, or
Okay, I know your concern. You concern about the novelty. Okay, so
yes,
actually, when you talk about research and novelty, it's very hard to talk about novelty. It's very hard to find your novelty by your own. Okay, it's not like you can be a pioneer for that field, right? So
yeah,
actually, my work is also does not have so much novelty. Okay, for example, I do membrane technology. That is a product. Okay, membrane technology. So there are a lot of what we call shape. So that product have several shape. It can be formed in the flat sheet. It can be formed in the in the in the hollow fiber and so on, and through various of methods. Okay, there are various methods in the research. So what I do is the methodology is some modification. Is a little bit, actually. It's only a little bit modification I have been done. For example, there are a lot of membrane that have been made from kaolin. Okay, I talk about material. So every research has done that. So that is the point why you are doing a review paper. So because you want to find the novelty. So I found that among all the same works, there are no works that do the product in other shape, which is the hollow fiber. So in my research, I use the same material, the same technique, the same technology, but into the different shape. So that is only my novelty in that paper, in a certain paper. So yes, I can publish. So it is how you what we call, it is how you explain the importance of the modification. Okay, for example, in previous work they do the technology in a flat sheet. In the flat sheet is like a paper, you know. So so paper is a big compared to hollow fiber, which is like a straw. So what is the advantages of the tiny product? It is have a high surface area, right? So I highlight that advantages in the manuscript. Okay, so that is become the novelty, the highlight of the novelty. So if you do a little bit, just a little bit modification, highlight why you do that. Why is so important to modify that? Just describe the modification that you have done. Okay?
Okay.
Am I answering your question?
Yeah. You answering the question. That's why in you answering some part of it. I
Yeah.
agree that we need to do the review
And I
first.
want to add more. If you
Yeah.
if you want to make it interesting, you can draw. Please draw a diagram that show that some people, some researcher, they don't show how the mechanism happen. They just show the mechanism in a writing form, right? In the writing form.
Yeah.
So you can show the mechanism in the what we call in the diagram. You draw by yourself. So it make your work, it make your paper, it's very novel because of the diagram.
That's right. That's right. I agree that one.
Okay.
Thank you very much, doctor. It's really good to know that.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Hello, Doctor.
Okay, yes, Jibril.
Thank you for your elaborate presentation.
Okay.
Yes, and Doctor, you said that your paper was rejected 14 times.
Yeah.
Is it the same paper that was
Yeah, the
rejected
same
14
paper.
times?
I don't change anything at all.
Okay, the same paper.
The same paper.
Okay,
The
and the
same
same publishers?
what?
Is it the same publisher that
Okay.
rejected it 14 times?
Okay, for your information, I have submit to 10 of them is
Okay, okay,
Elsevier. The publisher is Elsevier. So
okay.
I was fed up with Elsevier. Then I tried to the Willy. And then Willy also reject 4 times. And then I go to the another journal, which is I think Taylor and Franchise. And then I got accepted. So I not change anything at all from my manuscript. I just submit it to another journal.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, but for how long does it take you before it was published? How long?
Okay. Actually, when you get rejected, it's not taking so much time. So sometimes when you submit today and the editors don't want your paper, they just rejected the evening. Okay. Sometimes tomorrow you will got email
Okay,
that you are rejected. So
okay,
don't wait. Okay. Just don't
okay,
don't don't take time for cry or whatsoever. Okay. Just go to another journal and submit. Okay.
okay. Thank you.
Thank you, doctor. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum, Doctor.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, my name is Hakim. First of all, thank you for the fruitful and very informative talk and presentation.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, as we know, gaining citation for research work depending on many factors.
Okay.
Example, type, field, and quality of research of the publications.
Mm-hmm.
There is a belief among academics that research collaboration, especially with international authors, yield more citation. What is your opinion? Thank you.
You mean that how we can get high number of citation?
True.
Okay, so actually when you do an article, so I have present you that there are 3 types of research paper, right? That is review, short com, and full paper. So normally it is quite hard to get high citation for the full paper. So compare with review paper. So because when you, so we take you as example. When you do your thesis or your paper, what paper you will select? A review, right?
Yes, review.
So actually review is the summary of all what we call all previous works. Some review paper they contains thousand citations. So that's mean why you should read thousand paper. Instead you can read a paper that consists all of that. So what I saying here is if you want to get high citation, please publish a review paper.
And how about the collaboration with international authors? Is that help to
Yeah. Okay.
to make more
Actually,
citation?
actually this is a politics, a little bit
Yes.
politics, you know.
Yes.
Okay, so actually this is helped. Okay, this is helped.
Mm-hmm.
I agree with you. This is helped because I have a paper
Yes.
that he put, I put his name which because he is well known for
True.
in the same in the field. So I think that is helped.
Okay.
So I agree with you.
Yes. Thank you, Doctor.
Okay.
Thank you, Doctor. Hello.
Hello. Yeah.
Hello?
Yes. Are you?
Yeah. Doctor, I want to ask, is very useful your information. If someone has already written a review paper a few years back on a certain topic, so can we write a review again because it is a few years back? And secondly, can we make references of some review papers in a review paper, or we have to review, we
So
have to
are you
reference
not
only
too fast?
articles,
Can you
research
speak again?
articles?
Hello. Are you? You are too fast. Can you speak again?
Oh, yes. Can you hear me now?
Yes. First is review paper. What?
Yeah, I was asking if someone has already written a review paper a few years back on a certain topic.
Oh,
So if
okay.
we can write again a review paper after like a latest one on the same topic. And
Okay. Second
secondly,
question.
we can also in the references we can also writing a review paper. We can also refer some review papers. Like we have to refer only the articles, research articles.
Okay. So first question is, can you write again the same review paper? Actually, you can. You can do a recent technique or some recent technology. Okay, if you see the list of review paper in the science direct, for example, there are some paper that have a same meaning but different title. But of course, the content is also different because uh, if the latest review contains latest citation, latest reference, right? So you can, yes, you can write again with different title and different content. Okay, maybe a recent content. Okay, number two is reference. What are you?
Yeah. Yes. About references, I was asking if we writing a review paper, can we make references of some other review papers, or just we have to refer only the
Oh,
articles, the full research articles?
okay. Actually, this is a quite interesting question. Okay, you can use a previous paper, a previous review paper, and show their disadvantages. So perhaps that review paper do not contain some details. So you can say it in your review paper that, however, in the previous review, they're not stating that what. Okay, so you
Okay.
are the one. Your review will do that. So you can cite the previous work. Okay.
Oh, okay. Thank you so much. Thank you. I got it.
Okay.
Assalamualaikum, Doctor. It's me, Ridwan from UTM.
Hello, doctor.
Yeah.
Hello?
Yes, Ridwan.
Okay.
Okay.
I have two questions. The first one is how can we secure our work or idea if the reviewing process taken too long? So since we are want to secure, we publish because we want to secure our idea or
Okay.
words. So if the time taken for the reviewing is too long, so how can we secure our ideas? Do you have
Okay.
any suggestion? That's the first question. The second question
The second
might
question.
be the second question might not be in this topic, but I think it's applicable to the listeners. How can we, in from your experience, how did you raise your citation so that you will get the high H index?
Okay. Okay. The first question is how to secure your work if the reviewers take a long time. So there are a lot. thing can you do? First is you can patent, but patent also takes long times. So I think you can secure your work by publish a short communication, because short communication only consists 3 to 4 results, which it's not taking too long to be published and being reviewed. So that is the first question. And for second question is how to raise your citation, how to make your head index higher. So there are many platforms nowadays. There are ResearchGate, for example. So um, play your ResearchGate like you play Facebook. So you will be have a high citation. Okay?
Oh, okay. Thank you, Doctor.
Okay.
Here we have a question from the chat box. Jibet, you can answer.
Hello? Is there anyone talking?
Is there anyone to talk? If we have another question,
Yes, doctor.
Yeah.
But doctor, I'm interested in that your 14 times rejection.
Okay.
Yes,
Wow.
but doctor, what give you that courage to continue to continue sending for publishing up to 14 times? What make that paper very special that you did not drop it and you continue to publish, you continue to send it up to 14 times?
Okay. Okay, it's quite interesting question. Okay. Why I'm not give up, okay?
Yes.
Because I put a lot of times to do the research. So
Okay.
all my papers, of course, I do all the data by myself. Okay, that is the effort number one. Second is I put a lot of effort to write my time, some right, times and so on. So you need, if you not publish, who will get lost, So what I can tell here is you just need to resubmit. You no need to rewrite. So just don't give up. That's all.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, Doctor, we got a question from the chat box. So from Nur Suhaiza binti Sauti. So
Okay.
Doctor, I would like to ask you your opinion on the reject and resubmit a manuscript by the high impact journal. For example, based on your experience, possible acceptance result after I review and resubmit the manuscript.
Okay.
So the question is not clear. So reject, for example, your opinion rejected. Ask your opinion on the rejected and submitted of my manuscript. High impact journal. Your opinion about rejected and resubmitted. Yeah, they're asking you about your opinion about resubmitted and rejected.
Oh. Okay. Actually, if you have confidence that your work is novel, so you should publish actually. So there's no reason. So actually, when you have familiar with publication, when you have familiar in submission journal process, you will know what is the trend, what is the editor one, what is the reviewer one. Okay, so at the first time you submit and got reject, so actually you're not know what they want. Okay, so actually, when you got rejected, it's not meaning that your paper is not good. Okay, so actually, as I has been explained before, so some journals reject your paper because they have very high volume of papers. Okay, a lot of researchers send their manuscript to them, so that's why they will reject if they think your manuscript is not so novel or not interesting. So that's why I'm telling here that you need to make your manuscript interesting. Okay, put a diagram and so on. And then about the resubmission. Okay, some journals, as I also has explained before, some journals with the you have rejected by the low impact factor, but suddenly you resubmit to another journal with higher impact factor and then you got accepted. So actually these journals, you need to see the acceptance rate actually. because if the acceptance rate is higher, so it's easy to you to get accepted.
Okay, is there any question by the audience? Because there is no question on the chat box anymore. Is there? If any, do you guys have any question, you guys can turn on your microphone or write it on the chat box.
Hello, Doctor.
Hello.
I'm Faiz from AMC, of course. I would like to ask about regarding my paper actually. I have experience sending one of my paper to the one of the journal, Q2 journal, and got rejected, but was invited to resubmit again after made some correction. Is it from your experience? Is it recommended to send back to the same journal or we try to another journal?
If the journal asks you to resubmit again, so it's actually a good opportunity. So revise and then prepare a rebuttal letter. We call a rebuttal letter, which is it's like an answer to reviewer. But if you want to resubmit, it's called rebuttal letter. So prepare a rebuttal letter, define all the correction that you have been made, the revision that you have been made, and then resubmit.
Is it we have the highest possible to the paper will be accepted, or just your from your opinion and experience?
The journal reject your papers and ask you
Yes.
to resubmit. Is it?
Yes, is invited to resubmit again.
Yes, I think it's okay. It has 70% maybe.
Okay, thank you. That's all.
Okay. Hello?
Hello, yeah. Is there, sorry, I just turned on my microphone.
Okay.
Okay, is there any question by the audience? Is there any question? Last question maybe, before we end our session for today?
Sir, I think this time around, not question, but I'm pleading that you should share the slide, especially the covering note with us, please. It will go a long way in helping us.
I will give to Cheverly the slide.
Okay, and the covering note.
Okay, I will give all the information that I shared today.
Okay, thank you very much.
Okay, I also have, if you have any other question, I think you can also email me, or perhaps you have manuscript, you want to ask for opinion or so on, you can submit to me if you don't care about your novelty. So you can ask me about your, for my opinion and so on. Okay, you can email me or you can contact me from ResearchGate, okay?
Okay, thank you very much. I really appreciate it.
Okay. Okay, is there any question more? Okay, this is on this end of the session. So finally, we had come to an end part of our session. I would like to say thanks again to our honorable speaker for such an informative and interesting talk, and to audience for an active participant. Hopefully, this session will be beneficial to everyone. Don't forget to follow us in FB and Instagram, GSA UTHM, for more informative program and activities. And please don't forget to fill the feedback and attendance form to get your e-certificate. But next is I want to remind, good news. Next week, we will have another sharing session with Professor Dr. Muhammad Aminul Islam from Universiti Malaysia Perlis with the title of Systematic Literature Review. I hope you guys in here can join in and keep following our Facebook and Instagram to get more information about the program. I guess that's all for today. Thank you for joining us, and don't forget to fill out the feedback form for your e-certificate slide and also your video record. So basically, you will receive all the attachment within 7 days. Thank you very much. Okay, thank you, Doctor, for informative talk.
Okay, thank you. Bye.
Thank you, Doctor.
Thanks, Doctor, and thanks, Jabari. Good job.
Bye.
Thank
you, Doctor. Thank you, speaker.